Israel, the only democracy in the Middle East. Jerusalem, the most hotly contested real estate in the world. Judea and Samaria, condemned by the world as the West Bank. You'll not see it in the media. Journalists try to hide it. Real stories about real people, fathers, mothers, children, families. These are the people of the heartland of Israel. Your journey with them continues with the Joshua and Caleb Report, stories from the heartland of Israel.
Wow, so I am actually ecstatic to interview you here in Kodesh because I've never seen so many vineyards in my life. Even though I work in the vineyards here in Judea and Samaria, I'm like, these vineyards are absolutely amazing considering all the new vines that are here in this beautiful place and the new houses that are popping up and the children here. And to know that your part you play in this place, I mean, saying you've been here for 3 years now and you're the secretary here. And so I guess the story that we want to run from here with is we want to focus kind of on your story and how you came here. I know you came from the States at 8 years old and you went to an absorption center into Israel, and then you said you immediately went to Judea and Samaria. And so the first question I want to ask you is, how did you, what made you immediately come to Judea and Samaria? What brought you here?
So basically that's a question for my parents, since I was only 8.5 when we moved to Tzkoa. I think the lifestyle here is one of the first things that drew their attention. It's beautiful, and there's plenty of room and space and clean air, and there's a community, and that's a lot of stuff that people look for. And also believing in settling Judea and Samaria, which is a very, very important thing that we're doing right now. And my parents believed in that. And that's what I grew up into, and that's what I believe in.
Where did you move to when you first came?
After I was married, we moved to Ma'ale, which is the area of Tzkoa. It's in Drom HaChevron. And after living there for about 5 years, we decided that we want something even more important in settling the land, a place that you could really, every family counts and you need support. So we decided to move up here. And the first time I came here, I saw the vineyards on the way, and I saw the trees, and I just told my husband, this is where we're gonna live. Beautiful place.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I guess we're jumping ahead a little bit. I want to go back and figure out what those beginning years, those molding years from when you're 8 years old, moving into Judea and Samaria area here. What was the deep, the connection? What was that connection for you? Like you're growing and you're seeing and you're getting it for yourself, I guess is the question. You're really catching hold of this whole vision for yourself, and now you're obviously living it out now. But how did that happen for you? What was the connection?
Okay, so I'll tell you, the first time we came to Tzkoa, we came to visit a friend. My mom was already looking into it because she knew someone there. We were in their absorption center, and we drove on a bus. And the bus was stoned, lots of stones. Wow. And I remember my mom telling us to lay on the floor, and we were all laying on the floor. And we got up after they finished stoning us, and we saw that everyone was sitting in their places, looking cool. And we were the only big kids that were scared on the floor. And I remember that very, very strongly, because it was like, it gave me a lot of idea of how important it is to live there.
Kodesh means holy fire?
Yeah.
That's a pretty powerful name for a community. I mean, now how does that feel? I don't think there's a town in Tennessee that's named Holy Fire. That's a pretty, it's like, wow, this has got some weight to it, you know?
It's funny because no one actually remembers who gave the name. It was, I said before that Kodesh was started in memory for Kodesh that was killed, but no one actually gave the name Kodesh until someone came here and asked, what's the name? You need to tell me what's the name of of the hilltop here. And there were a couple of guys living here then, and someone said Kodesh, and no one really knows until today who gave the name. But it's for sure a very powerful name. It's just really, really nice. A while ago, when Ish Kodesh was in his first years of Ish Kodesh, people started planting vineyards here. And the first person that came here and started to plant his vineyard, he put down the first stuff that you need for a vineyard, you know, all sorts of metal poles and whatever to start with a fence. And he put it down over there on the vineyard, and he went home, and the next morning he got there and it wasn't there. And then he brought the next day the fence. And when he came back the following day to put it up, it wasn't there. So there was no other way to do it except for he started to actually sleep in the vineyards. He brought the stuff, he started, and when he was in the middle and it became nighttime, he just slept in the vineyards. And slowly he started and planted. And more people planted more vineyards and more vineyards. And it's not unusual for them to be outrooted, part of them, or to be, you know, started to break into.
Wait, so who's uprooting him? Like, what is the, like, obviously sleeping in the vineyards, who was originally the person who took his stuff? Like, who? So
the Arab villages here don't want us here. And we have the one right behind us, Kutzra, is a very violent village. And they've been bothering us since Ish Kodesh started. But we don't let them put us down. We're just staying here. We're strong, and if it takes us another year to plant again, so that's what we're gonna do. I think a year ago, about, I had trees that were planted on the other side of Ish Kodesh in the valley, and they were uprooted, and we planted them again. Wow. And this is the life here, you know. You need to be very, very strong and continue. Can't let some stuff get you down, because it's just, it's never going to stop, and we can't let it stop us.
So what is their claim against you here in Ish Kodesh? Like, I mean, are they claiming that you're on their land? Obviously, that's kind of a debate, but that's obviously, I mean, I guess not true.
Well, Ish Kodesh itself, there's no debate about it, even politically. Ish Kodesh is on Israeli property, but it doesn't make a difference to them. It's not. It has nothing to do with whose it is. It has to do with them not wanting us here. The Arabs here don't want us to live here because they think that this is Palestine, and of course it's not Palestine. And they weren't born when when the Jewish people were founded. So God gave us the land, and it's ours, and it's hard for them, you know. They're just gonna need to learn.
That's exactly.
That there's no other way, and they'll need to give up, because we're not. This is gonna be ours forever, and we're not leaving, and we're just gonna continue to grow and get bigger.
And have children.
Have more children, have more houses, have more land. And, you know, slowly, but this is our way.
So as a mother living here in Ish Kodesh, there has to be some things you have to kind of deal with in regards to, obviously there's no fence here. Your enemies maybe, I mean your neighbors, I don't say enemies, I guess to say, they obviously don't like you being here. How does that feel? Like I mean, that was probably a pretty serious question you had to ask yourself. Obviously you grew up in it, but once you had that first baby and you're living here and you're like, now I have a person that I have to take care of, how do you process that?
So my personal feeling about that is actually opposite with the fence, at least. When we lived in Mali Chever, we had a fence around the settlement, And it was scarier because, our neighbors that, of course, don't like us and don't want us here, and go into different kinds of yeshuvi once in a while, and there's murders and stuff. So they could come up to the fence, and that's really close. And here we don't have a fence, and I feel a lot more safer and calm. And it's part of my belief that I'm not saying that until here is mine. I don't believe in fences. I believe that it's all ours. God gave us the land. And I'm not going to put up borders for where I need to stop walking in my land.
So is there days that you're like, is there days that when your children are going outside and you kind of tell them, hey, stay close by the house here, don't go running off in the valley, or it's like there has to be some sort of feeling as a mother. You have to kind of like feel like you've got to keep your children right underneath you, because some things have happened around here. Like how do you feel comfortable because I've been in the yeshuvs and the children are just running everywhere all over the community, there's not a care in the world, like there's no problem with anything, and it's like, so where does that peace come from is basically what I'm trying to ask. What gives you that confidence that everything's going to be okay?
We believe in God. We have a lot of confidence in God. But basically, inside where the settlement, inside our community, we feel very safe. We feel that we don't have that feeling of scared every day, But actually, people feel it a lot more on the roads. The roads here are kind of dangerous, and just this past week we had 2 families that were stoned on the roads here. So that's more when people need to pack up their kids and drive, and of course if it's a mother driving with her kids alone, people would feel a little more nervous about the safety.
So what's the? I want to get into more about Kodesh and the community here. What's the, like, we're seeing agriculture all over the place. What does a normal person do here that lives? Like, what does your husband do? What do the other men in the community and ladies here? What's the jobs? Because we're pretty far out here. Like, what do people do here?
Okay, so basically everyone does whatever they want. And I think that's one of the beauties of Kodesh, that we don't have, everyone has to be teachers or agricultures or who knows what. We have people that work in the vineyards, and we have teachers, and we have people that work in high tech, and all sorts of different, we have soldiers, and anything you could think of, basically.
Wow. That's a real sign of a beautiful, flourishing community. What's it been like from the time you got here till now? What's been like the thing that stood out to you? Like, this is amazing. You're talking about faith, you're talking about God. Is there like big things that happened here where you're like, okay, this is really, God's really doing something, and this is a beautiful thing that really we couldn't do unless, just miracles. Is there anything that really stands out to you?
I just love the beauty of the community. It's just, every day, everything, someone has a baby here, everyone cooks the meals. And it's just like a big family. Everyone here gives in and does stuff and helps build. And we're building stuff. And every time we build something new, I feel like, wow, we're doing something. And here's a new house. That's amazing. And even though it's very hard for us to get loans, and we can't have, no one could get here a mortgage on their house. So it's difficult and it's hard, but people do it, and it's just beautiful to see. And there's another house, and they put on a roof, and it's just amazing. Day after day, growing and getting bigger and getting stronger, and another family coming.
What's the family styles around here? Is the common family like yourself, like you're describing, young children? Is there grandparents here? How many children are people having? Is it a large family community? What's that style here?
So there's over 100 kids. So 30 families and over 100 kids. So you could do the math.
That's awesome.
Most of the people here, everyone is young, have kids. Most of the people have kids. Soon there's going to be a grandparents that are coming to move here. So we're very
circle, huh?
Yeah, I think it's amazing because it's part of, like, you know, a real community has different kinds of people at different ages. And if everyone's young, you don't have anyone to look up to.
Mm-hmm.
So
This is incredible just to see the life and the beauty. I mean, these hills, I mean, once just completely barren, and now, what, you come here, when was Kodesh originally started?
it was started 14 years ago.
14 years ago, and now we're seeing just a life coming back to these hills that were completely, like, just desolate, just waiting for you to be here, pretty much is the story. And I just see that so connected to the Bible, like you're saying. Your story just goes exactly into what even the prophets talked about, this land flourishing. Is there any prophecies that you see that you're deeply connected to? I know there's probably a whole ton, but is there anything that really stands out to you in that?
There's a verse that says, Uvanu arim venat'u kramim. So build the land and plant vineyards. So I just feel like that's what we're doing.
That's exactly what you're doing. We can see it all around us, incredibly. The vineyards around here, like, there's so many vineyards. You know how many dunams of vineyard there is here? Like, it's covering every hill on this whole surrounding.
Just this past year, there was over 70 dunams were planted, just this year.
And how many new houses?
Oh.
Do you know?
This past year? I'm not counting them by year.
Lots of growth,
It's
though.
hard. Yeah, but it's growing.
It's exactly what the prophet said would happen. It's happening.
And we're hoping to grow bigger and more. And, you know, all this hill behind us, I hope one day we have some houses on there.
It's incredible to see just the faith and the driving forward that you, and I'm sure a lot of families up here identify with your story a lot as well. Same kind of stories, same kind of passions. And really the only reason why I'm hearing from you is to be here is because God said this was where you were supposed to be. I think that's just admirable, incredible.
I think it's incredible, Matti, just hearing your story and how it's so connected to the Bible and how it's becoming so realistic. Like, it's like you say, shall yet plant vines on the mountains of Samaria, and all of a sudden you're saying, yeah, and we're doing that. We're living it. And I see the confidence it gives you. And I recognize the faith that you have in God, and the just, it's so just wowing to me. And, like, I feel so inspired every time I get around people that live in your circle, because you have such a confidence in the direction that Hashem has got you on, and the mission that He's put you, and you feel like for such a time as this, you were placed into the world. And that's such a beautiful thing. And so I think I want to wrap this interview up with this question. And the question is, what are your dreams? Like, what is the future that you see here? Obviously, as a mother with 3 children, and you're living here in this hilltop community with 30 families, what is your dreams? Like, I want you to go as far as when you're sitting maybe on your front porch in your rocking chair, you and your husband, you're retired, maybe you got a few gray hairs or whatever, and you got your grandbaby, you got your grandbaby on your knee or whatever, and you're telling him about when it was, but now you're saying, okay, what's your dream?
So I dream that this will be all settled, Jewish settlement. All this hill behind us will be settled, and the community will grow. And this hill over there was Alei Ain, which was evacuated over 2 years ago. And I dream that it will be also settled. There'll be vineyards, there'll be more planting trees and everything, and all these valleys underneath us will be worked by Jewish people, and we'll grow stuff and we'll sell stuff, and everything here will be just peaceful and just a real good life without any worries. I'm going far. And just to live God's will.
And there's something, though, I want to dig a little deeper in this question, and there's something I believe that goes beyond, in some ways for you, your connection to these hills and to these mountains. It's a core belief in that kind of goes deep into the heart of who you are and the foundation of who you are, and ultimately there's going to be peace in the world is the ultimate foundation I believe that you guys are connected to here. And so I think even going beyond that, what is your ultimate vision? And like just to say, go as big as your mind can go. What is the ultimate vision that you see for these mountains and for the land of Israel?
Well, of course, we're all waiting for the third temple to be built, which is that's our mission in life, to get that and to be part of this. And I wish that all of the Jewish people would come back to the land and we would have the whole land. You know, Israel is not only between the Jordan and the sea. We have the other side of the Jordan. We have parts of Lebanon, which are part of the land that God gave us. So we have a lot of place to grow to, and I wish that there would be peace. I really, really wish that we would just get to that point, and that there would be the third temple, and everything here would be peaceful, and to get to all the what the prophets say about, you know, what's called Acharit Hayamim, after the end of the days. So all those prophets